can say that.
Hey Tammy, just one quick thing. I saw some comments earlier of someone saying that whoever's like whispering in the background is telling you what to say. Just like for the record, do you think you could just clear that up so that this doesn't
Oh,
that doesn't turn into like another
right. No,
whatever?
so my boyfriend is here, and he's trying to keep me focused because a lot of times I go off on rabbit trails. He does not tell me what to say. He's extremely supportive, but he knows I go off on rabbit trails. I'm sure I've done that several times.
Probably reminding you of things as well to help you. I'm sure it's very difficult for you to speak out in this moment with all of these people watching. So we want to thank him for being right there with you
Yeah,
to support you.
absolutely.
Oh, he's been
Yeah.
extremely supportive. He's been there in the beginning. Well, I knew him prior to. I knew him before we started dating, and he saw what I went through. And it was a couple of years after we'd known each other for a couple of years, and we started dating. We've been together 5 years. It bothers him because, you know, the people that you're with, they can either bring out the best in you and support you and nurture you and put you in a place where you know that you're in a safe place. When you have to find joy, and I had joy, don't get me wrong, I had joy. When I was in that marriage, I had to find joy. And if I didn't find it here at the house, I found it in my grandkids, my family, you know, my kids. It's not, but I mean, when you're in a supportive, nurturing relationship, it's a completely different. I'm a completely different person than who I was. And yeah, he just tries to keep me focused.
I love that. I just saw some comments, and just with how crazy things have been, I was like, I just want you to clear that up because I think we all assumed that, but lately how it seems is that one person gets that idea and then it gets ran away with. But I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, I absolutely do not need somebody to tell me what to say. And, you know, it was like, try to keep my thoughts straight, because honestly, when I left him and got away from that relationship, I forgave him. I forgave him. And never really thought about him. After we settled with the house, I never gave him a second thought. Could have cared less. If he was off and doing his thing and he was happy, so be it. But when he started bringing up my family, that wasn't okay. That just wasn't okay. And
Mama bear.
it's not that I did not forgive him. I did forgive him. Listening to those audios was very difficult. And it didn't even seem like it was me. And because I stopped thinking about that. Nobody wants to relive that. I don't live that way anymore. I don't have that kind of a relationship anymore. And yes, I'm happy. And the only reason that I am where I am today, honestly, is because of my relationship with Jesus. That is it. Because without him, I am nothing. And I still extend grace to that man. What I want to see in all of this, in complete honesty, is I want to see that man free from that abusive cycle that he is in. He said he knows God. You can know God, but to actually have a personal relationship with Jesus, anybody can know God, anybody can know about Jesus. But if you don't have a personal relationship with him, it's not the same. And all I want is, what I really, really want for him is, I want that man to be restored. I want that healing in his heart from what he went through as a child, what he went through as a teenager, what he was put through, all that abusive situations that went on in his home. to finally let that go and let the healing start in his heart so that he doesn't continue on. I want to see him live an abundant life, be happy, not hold on to things. Things aren't important. I used to tell him, people can steal your things. Your house can burn down. You can lose things. They can be gone. Here 1 minute, gone the next. Money is fleeting. Money doesn't buy happiness. He said he's happy being single. Then that's great. But if he doesn't base it on, a relationship with Jesus, he won't have anything. And I always told him, looks fade. And then what do you got? What do you got? If your inside is ugly, if your inside is ugly and the outside is beautiful or handsome, looks fade. If you've got a good heart and if you walk with the Lord and because when you know Jesus, you're gonna show that. Are we perfect? No. But we are perfectly imperfect, and Jesus sees us as perfect. And I said, I know that God loves him. Jesus loves him just as much as he loves everybody else. There is nothing that he has done that cannot be forgiven. But I do not want him to bring my family's pain and continue to bring my family's pain, and for him to finally just forgive and move on, let it go. And that's what Deb used to tell him. Tom, let it go. Move on. You were given a second chance. What are you going to do with your life? Keep bashing? Then he's going to be a miserable man.
Tammy, I first want to say, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry, who struggles with the Jesus talk? Okay, so this whole situation, I didn't see who that was. This whole situation of what's going on in the church, people are focusing on the man. And Jesus is not that man. People have got to stop looking to man, because that's not your salvation. That man is not your salvation. Church, we are the church. If you never go to church again, if you've got a personal relationship with Jesus, you're fine. But anybody who struggles with Jesus, I get it. Right now, the church is, all the people in the churches and stuff, a lot of stuff is coming down, and it does not look good. It's not a good look. It's not, and I understand. But I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you saying, honey?
No, it's okay. I was first I want to make two comments. I want to make one to Thomas first, because he's been in here. And Thomas, you and I've talked before on this panel, and Casey has invited you multiple times today, and I'll be glad to step down if you want to come up. The fact that she's willing to give you a platform and that Tammy's willing to let you come up here speaks volumes about their character. And the fact, I know you said you wouldn't bash her, and we definitely appreciate that, but you do have the opportunity, just, and I'll be glad to do that for you. Tammy, for you, I just want to say, number one, thank you for doing this. I know how hard it is to get up here. I have only recently started talking about my story. I've been divorced from my first husband for 23 years, and for the longest time, I did not feel like I had a right to speak about it. A lot of ours was more emotional, verbal abuse. He did hit me once, but because of the nature of the abuse, I just felt like I didn't have a platform. Mostly I feel like people only want to talk about the physical abuse, or have always felt that way. I don't feel that way anymore. And I think being a part of this group has done that. So I just want to thank you for bringing that up, and know that you're valued, and we support you. I know personally firsthand what you've gone through. I've been in your shoes. I don't want to minimize what you've been through, because everybody's experience is different, but I do want to thank you for bringing it here, and being willing to talk and be a voice for other people, because that's what we need.
Thank you. Somebody said they had a question about today, because was that Amber Amber Dawn, she said she had a question about today because she believed Tom is going to try. She didn't finish the sentence.
Amber, what was your question?
While we wait for Amber, I just want to say I don't consider myself a religious person either. And that doesn't mean that I don't find value in anything that you're saying. But I think that that's what we need to focus on, right? Is that finding healing and strength and whatever it is that gives you that healing and strength, and being able to inwardly reflect, self-reflect, and grow as a human being in whatever form that may be, is something that you wish for him. And obviously, in your case, with what you believe in, that is Jesus and Christianity. And so I just want to remind people that it's you can take what you need from these stories and these personal experiences and frame it in whatever way you need to, but the story is all the same, right? Is that wishing someone healing and growth within themselves, while being able to forgive them, but not forget, is really important.
Well, like I said, I did not want to be with that text message. I said I did not want to be the one to expose him. He put himself out there, and it's just, I didn't like him putting my family out there. I don't wish anything bad on him. I really don't. I really would like for him to just move forward and stop, living in his past about everything that everybody did to him. Move forward and find some happiness. And it doesn't have to be in the center of this whole chaotic situation that's already bad enough.
Okay, here's Amber.
I'm going in the box. Okay, so my phone might die. But now he's shy. He don't want to get on here. But he is beside me and can verify what he was told. So, as soon as we got there and Tom showed up, I had already informed him of some of the things that I had heard. But he gives everybody, unfortunately, benefit of the doubt. So, and apparently Tom seen this, and he was buttering him up from the jump. And I even seen that. Well, he was standing by, you said the mayor's plaque?
Yeah,
the mayor's plaque. When we were, let me make sure I'm correct. We were all at the parking lot side.
Yeah, he cut his camera off.
Y'all can hear him, right?
If I seen anybody coming out of any other door that he was not out, to let him know, because he needed to speak to the family immediately. And that's all he asked me.
So when that happened,
I told you.
Well, you didn't tell me then, so
I
let's
told
not.
you when I got to
Yeah,
you.
when you got to me. So after that happened, apparently Tom went up some. And Tammy, that is when my husband actually thinks that he spoke with you, because he said a lady spoke to him but walked directly past Tom with a gentleman and completely ignored him.
But no, that's when he took off running to the playground.
And Tom took off running to the playground screaming, "I got you," or something. Yeah, something like that. And I just wanted to get this out there in case he has his voice on his live by chance, if it was picked up by somebody else, because what Tom is not about to do is spin it that my husband was feeding him information, because that is so much further from the truth, because right now he is fuming beyond assuming. But Tammy, he's not sure if it was you he spoke
Excuse
with.
my language. He's
But
a piece of shit.
okay, well, they probably heard it anyways. Word vomit. But he's not sure it was you. He said it was a what?
Which one is it? Let me see here.
There's not a picture.
Okay.
What color hair does she have?
I talked to the two people that had the posters. He was on the right-hand side.
That come out of the church.
That come out of the church.
Did-
It was some dude and a lady he confronted and started hollering at.
Okay, what did the lady he started yelling at look like?
Nothing. She started running really quick.
Okay. That wasn't Tammy that she spoke with.
Okay.
Okay. He was wondering, and
I just don't like the fact that he kind of used me to find out who was coming out of doors.
yeah, he's not happy at the fact he feels like he was used, and now it seems, and we talked about it all the way home, listening to you the whole way home, Miss Tammy, and my sympathy for you, babe. All the love in the world.
Baby, honestly, it looks
but
like
it's
looking for
just
a certain person.
The impression that he has is he was looking for a certain person today, but never spoke on who it was. So that's probably maybe neither this or that. But it seems to me now that I'm hearing you, Tom is JP describing himself, describing JP, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we are both basing our opinions of him on.
Are you saying that, like, when Tom talks about JP, he's actually talking about himself?
Yeah. Like
I got
when
that same impression.
When Tom describes how JP is, now that we've heard her, that's actually how Tom is. So Tom is describing himself, describing JP. Tom is a narcissist, an abuser. JP is a narcissist, an abuser. They both spin the narrative to fit their lifestyles, their stories, their bubbles. Everybody is wrong. It's everybody's fault. Nothing is ever their fault. It's JP, but it's him.
It's basically describing himself.
And he uses anybody he can. If he sees a slight opening to get any information possible, and that was seen firsthand today by my husband, because he didn't know anything about this man.
I felt like he was trying to take attention away from himself and put it on somebody else.
And it's not, that's not okay. At least that's not okay for what my name's attached to, because you don't do that for what's mine and what I love. Because honey, I will go 10 toes down for what's mine. But that's all. So if it's anybody else has a question, I'll drop.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you as well, Tammy. I know that you didn't want to have to speak out about this, and regardless of the separation that you may have had with Micah years ago, I know that this has to be really upsetting. And then having to come out and have your name out there and that not be your choice. So we do appreciate you speaking up on it and allowing us to have that information. And I'm just sorry that you went through it. And, you know, you guys should be able to live your life moving forward and not have to relive this repeatedly.
Yeah, it was a it was a very surreal situation when all this came out initially. Obviously, because we had we were part of her life for a while, and I reached out to her sister and told her how sorry I was. I loved her. I can't imagine what their family must be going through. I hurt for so many people in this situation. It is a horrible, horrible thing. And it has touched so many people. And it has exploded all over the world. And I never in a million years would have believed that something like this ever would have happened. But my job as a mother is to protect my children. And that's what I'm doing. And that's why I do not come forward. I don't talk about it, because it was a very hurtful situation. And the things that I know, I choose to keep the good things and forgive the things that were done. And we've all had to move on, but it does not mean that I did not love Micah. My heart is broken, but I'm not going to get out there and shout it from the rooftops that, to find a place on social media. I do my crying in silence, and I hurt, and I hope that justice is done. I really do. But I'm not, I will protect my family. And I don't think it's right that Thomas exploits them. Again, I want him to take those rest of those photos down. Especially that video. I don't want anything associated on his page with myself or my family.
Miss Tammy, I don't know you, but I met a lady at a park the one day, and I heard wonderful things about you and about your son when Mike was married to him. And I just want to say, if you're still in this live, please do not come to the protest anymore. We don't want you there. Okay? I'm sorry, but you're not out there for justice for Micah. You're out there for yourself. And we would appreciate it if you did not come. And if you do come, then we might have to ask you to leave. So I'm asking you, out of respect for Micah's family, we don't want you to come there. Especially after hearing some of the things that Amber said. I wasn't aware of. I was on the opposite side. But we would appreciate if you just didn't come. You could stand at the church and talk and say everything that you want to. You have a perfect opportunity to come up here and talk, and you refuse to. So do not come to the protest. We will have you removed from there.
And she's speaking about that because her and Allie are the ones who organized the protest. That is why she is speaking out in that way.
And when Thomas showed up today, there were some people that did not want to associate with him and was kind of upset that he showed up. So if Thomas, you can't come up and speak, your piece and you're not there for Micah, then we don't want you there. You don't belong there. That's all I have to say, Miss Tammy. I'm sorry, but I did hear wonderful things about you, about your son. I met a lady at the park the other day, and we were talking, and Micah's situation came up, and she said very wonderful things about you. And I just want to say thank you for giving out your
So,
story.
hey everyone, I just want to throw it out there that anyone has the right to come to a peaceful protest. It is his constitutional right. You cannot have someone removed from a peaceful protest
But you
unless they
do
are
have the
causing
right,
chaos by
as
the
the
police.
organizer of said
Also, you should
protest,
not
you
be going
also have the
around
right to
telling
ask
everything that a
that.
private investigator, Cassie, it's my
No, ma'am, it's not. This is my platform, and I'm going to interrupt you. The people who organized said protest do have the right to ask that he does not come. That does not mean that he doesn't have a legal right to be there. But as the organizers of said protest, they do have the right to ask him and request him not to come. I'm so sorry, but you're not going to come on my panel and start demanding or saying things. This is my platform. This is my live. And sorry, but no.
So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I
And
believe
you do
he's.
have the chance to speak, but you don't get to get on my panel and tell people that they're wrong. Have a nice day. If you want to post your own videos or go on your own live and speak about that, you have every right to do so, Steph. But you're not going to get on my panel and talk down to the people who are asking him, who have organized the protest, and ask him not to come. I do have a fair platform, and you are not going to take this and twist it and manipulate it to be anything other than that. Thank you, but you are wrong here, ma'am. I'm so sorry, but you can either get on my platform and respect the people that are up there, or you can go find your own.
Honestly, I think what it comes down to is the fact that knowing all of this about him, people aren't going to feel safe and comfortable around him. And if the organizer of the protest doesn't feel like him being there is helping the cause and helping to make people protesting feel empowered and like their voice is being heard, then it's not worth it, regardless of whether he has a right to be there.
You know, the whole thing is none of this had to even been an issue if he had respectfully, my son respectfully texted him and asked him to take down the photos. He did not. My other son texted him and called him and asked him, take down the photos and the videos. Stop trying to be out there and pretend you're somebody that you're not. He chose not to. He doubled down. He went on any platform that would give him the option. And the thing is none of this would, he could have done his thing. He could have been out there and he could have been a voice and an advocate for her. But when he started talking about our marriage and how our marriage broke down because of the church and JP, that is not true. And I'm not going to let people think that. And all of this could have been, not have been a topic or even a discussion. And he could have gone about his, whatever it is he wanted to do. Unfortunately, and I have found this in the past in being with him, he will always have somebody there to defend him because he spins a really good narrative. He has it all nailed down.
And that's why she came up here and said what she said. She was defending him. And yes, you are correct. He does have a legal right to be there. But shame on you for getting on a platform with 373 people, several whom are DV victims. Shame on you for getting up here and telling them that they don't have a right to ask someone who has a domestic violence history to not be there. These people want to have a safe place. These people want to have a safe space to protest for justice for Micah. And if Thomas makes them feel uncomfortable, they have the right to ask that he not be there.
I usually really try not to speak on like what happens in between things because I realize it doesn't always add to it. But we did just listen to someone sharing a part of their life that they really, really wanted to keep private and felt like they were forced into having to speak. The first thing that we shouldn't be worried about is educating people on who has rights to be somewhere. That is really frustrating. It's really offensive. We all know what our legal rights are, but there is a thing called respect. And if people feel uncomfortable with someone's presence, they can ask that you not be there. I'm really disappointed that that was her move. I'm really disappointed by that. And Tammy, I'm sorry because I see how that comes across.
Too.
And if I really cared about something, if someone asked me to not be somewhere, I would say, okay, I understand. Because
Exactly.
it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about what we're saying that we care about. And we show that we care about something by doing our best to be respectful of people and the people that are involved.
Exactly, Jenny.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was going to say real quick is that, I mean, this is a privately organized protest, right? Like, so people have decided, hey, come, you know, if you're not going to be part of the protest, they, like, I believe, as far as I understand, the freedom of assembly also says you do not have to assemble with people you don't want to assemble with. So he can do his own protest, do your own protest, right? No one's stopping you from doing that. So just, we don't want you associated with this one. So that was my piece.
Well, and here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is okay, you find out that your past makes other people uncomfortable. So just a respect for other humans alone, you should say, okay, I won't involve myself in that. And if you're really genuinely passionate about the cause and genuinely passionate about what is going on, then you find a way to involve yourself in a way that doesn't make people uncomfortable, right? So, okay, I hear you. I'm not going to force myself upon people who I make uncomfortable. Let me find a way to continue this movement without doing that. There's so many other ways you can do that. It just is what it is. Like, I'm sorry, you have this history, and whether you've evolved and grown or not, which I don't think you have, but even if you claim that you have, then it still is the reality of it, right? It still is the reality that you are a man with a history of DV coming into groups of women who may also have experienced that in their lives, and you make them uncomfortable. And that is what it is. And you forcing yourself into those situations doesn't help anything. So why don't you find a way that you can be helpful if what you really care about is Micah?
And I just want to say, you guys, I know Steph has already jumped over in her own live and she is probably running her mouth about me. And I take that on. I will put that on my back and I will carry it. But I will not have someone jump on my panel and shame or be hateful or try and tell a victim or other victims in this live that they should not request to be safe or have a safe space. And if that meant that I have to interrupt her and turn her microphone off, then I will do it 100 times over. I will do it 1,000 times over. And she can speak about me however she wants to. I say, let them.
I just want to say,
Yeah, that
this has This has nothing to
Sorry, go
do
ahead,
with,
Jackie.
sorry, this has nothing to do with Tammy. She's attacking me because I told her something privately and in confidentiality, and she ran back to the person that I said something to. So she's mad at me. This has nothing to
Well,
do.
everyone is just showing their true colors, hon. What can I say?
This has
I'm
nothing to
extremely
do.
disappointed. I did not expect that disrespect.
There was several people that didn't want him there. So
Right.
several creators that he used to stand next to and chummy with, they didn't want to be a part of him. So she's personally attacking me because of something I confided and told her. She went and told the person that I told something. And she's supposed to be taking
Well,
people that are victims or had issues with the church, and she's supposed to be advocating for them and being a source that people could go to talk to. And I tell her something and she's going to go tell the person. But I'm sorry, but I just had to say that. That's why she's mad. That's why she's mad.
yeah, and like I said, give people a chance, give them enough rope, and they're gonna show their true colors and hang themselves. What can I say? I'm really upset about what she just did. So, and a lot of people are. That was extremely disrespectful. You do not come into somebody else's house and try to make the rules.
Definitely was.
That is not how this works.
No, ma'am.
That is not how this works.
Well,
And Case, what you said about Thomas being in the area, knowing his past, making women uncomfortable, girl, that whole part right there, because we all know now who he is. And he should at least have a little bit of respect, move off to the side, and not be mingling around trying to see who he can hunt down next. Because frankly, that's what it looks like to me. My opinion, but that's what it looks like to me. And it's extremely disrespectful to all DV victims, but especially to Micah. And I don't want to hear him filling up his mouth saying justice for Micah anymore. Frankly, I do not. And Miss Tammy, I wanted to thank you so much for being as brave as you are to come on. I know that you've resisted and you did not want to have to do this. I've been in that position. I know exactly what you're talking about. It takes a lot of bravery. A big mama bear protecting her kids because it's gone on for long enough. And you shouldn't have had to come out and say anything. But I'm glad that you did. And what you mentioned about what somebody commented about having problems with Jesus talk, your response was perfect. And I'm getting chills right now. I want to thank you for that because that hit me. Because I have the same problem. That hit me. That was a perfect response. It shows the difference between people who are in it for other motives and people who actually are looking for a relationship with Christ. So I greatly appreciate what you said.
Tammy, I want to say one thing, love. You did a really great job today giving people a taste of your story and speaking out. And I couldn't be more prouder of you. I know how hard it is as a victim of DV myself. Like, this is very hard, and it's hard going against somebody who's on social media running his mouth constantly. But I'm very proud of you for doing it, and kudos to your boyfriend there for supporting you and standing behind you. We appreciate you too, sir.
Thank you.
Great man there. Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to use my backup as a voice. You know, I had no problem giving that out because I know how important this is and how dear this is to your heart to speak about this. And anytime you want to use it again to give a voice, just tell Casey and I will make sure you have access to it. Okay?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I haven't been reading. I happened to look down. It's too confusing for me, especially when it's hard for me to stay on topic. Well, that'll be interesting if that happens next week.
Yeah, I just read that comment too.
I'm sorry if that don't prove somebody's motive right there. I don't know what does. If you cannot see that this group of women do not want this man there for their own safety and their own well-being, and they've asked for him not to come, if you can't see that, and now you're going to cause more of a ruckus and have police show up and have all of that go down and cause these women and these people to feel even more unsafe, shame on you. Shame on you.
And
Run
what's
your mouth all
crazy?
you want.
I'm sorry, Casey.
That's okay.
What's crazy is you would figure her as a woman would understand that. But You did nothing wrong, Casey. You handled that perfectly. Because I was about to say something like, hold up, who are you talking to? Like, no, that was not okay. And I used to watch her all the time. Yeah, that was not okay.
Dom, you already know what I was chewing back. It's a good thing I was on mute.
I know. Listen,
Well, people have asked me, and I've had a lot of people ask me lately, especially, is why in the world would you marry that man? Knowing his background, knowing what he had gone through in his past. And I believe that people, if they really want to, they can change. He can be a different person, and that's why I'm saying that these people that are defending him, obviously they're getting his side of the story. But if they stay connected to him for an extended period of time, and he doesn't have any use for them afterwards, then he'll just move on to the next one. And but again, I'm not here to bash him. I am just trying to explain what or try to the things that he has put out there from my side of the story. And that's what this one person that had made all those comments, well, have you heard his side of the story? Well, I think everybody has kind of heard his side of the story from what he's been saying. As far as our relationship, that should never have been put out there to begin with. Has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on. It takes away from the real focus. And most likely I will probably get off from TikTok when this is all over. I do not like to put myself out there with all this stuff. If he continues, well, that's on him. Honestly, the more that he keeps talking and the more that he keeps trying to get, people eventually will catch on. But I mean, I just wanted to, from my point of view, what went on. And but again, I'm not here to bash him. That's not my job. My job is not to judge that man.
Right. Well, he can go around to every platform and panel and on lives and everywhere else bashing and badmouth talking you. But then as soon as someone comes up and speaks out against it, now we're wrong.
Yeah. And that's what they were saying, is because I've been reading a lot of the comments and the things online. He's saying a lot of people are, and it's not all it's doing is it's keeping the drama going. And I just assume that this part of this situation be done with him. And oh, I'm sorry, I can hear her. I can hear her live in the background.
Thomas, you got any more dogs you want to have come up on panel to fight for you, or you want to come up on your own?
In this first, because I wanted to share a perspective where, I don't just change my mind on people like flippity floppy. I really try to listen to what people say. So I do get nervous sometimes, Casey, when people are looking at who's on what's live, because I will go in and I will listen. Sometimes I'll join in and share my perspective, because I am trying to actually talk with people and share a perspective in a way that isn't emotionally charged, to approach things with some rationality. when I had heard that he was on your live and I didn't get to hear it for myself, I was like, okay, well, I don't know enough information to make a decision. And so I didn't go out and like voice it to anybody because there wasn't enough for me to say anything until I did hear it. And are there situations where people can cherry pick and, like when they're being abused and make it? Absolutely. I mean, it's been done to me. I've exhibited reactive abuse, and if my abuser recorded only that part, you would think that I was wrong. So I was like, okay, that could be possible in this case, but I don't know yet, so I'm not going to say anything. Tammy came up, shared all of it when she really didn't want to, and my heart is with you because people don't want to share some of their deepest pain. And the absolute refusal to come up here when in any other situation he can't stop talking. Volumes. It speaks volumes. And so I've now made I have my decision and my opinion, not that that matters in the grand scheme of things, but those who think that all of us just flippy flop our feelings based on something we may have heard possibly, it's not so. I would like to think that we are intelligent enough and wise enough to not make rash decisions. Like I would like to think that. And so if there's people here and they're going over there, like please just try to remember, like, this isn't serving Micah at all. There's no way that arguing and getting upset because we got muted or whatever, someone is sharing their story, it's not the time to come in and talk about rights and attacking each other as creators isn't going to get us anywhere either. And so, and us as viewers, us as commenters, we need to be responsible ourselves too, to not perpetuate that, to not run back and forth and try to ignite people's emotions when they're already upset. Because we, like, the most mature people, if we're already elevated emotionally and we're crying and we're upset, everything's gonna like set us off. Like, we need to calm down. And it's unfortunate to see that happen. I hope no matter what, Tammy, that you know that your truth is appreciated. And I don't know. I wish that you didn't have to be in this position at all. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I have moved on. I did not want to have to be dealing with any of this. I moved on. I found someone that, you know, I want to be with, that wants to be with me and treats me good. You know, this is just to try to, you know, set the record straight as far as him airing out our marriage problems and all this stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it. But I kept messaging Casey and can you clarify, is it Cassie or Casey?
It's Casey. It's spelled like Cassie, but it's Casey.
That's what I wanted to make sure. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This will probably be the absolute. I really don't want to talk about this. And I apologize that all this has had to go down the way it did.
Don't you apologize for a second. You've done nothing wrong. Nothing.
Well, honestly, I would like to have peace. I would like for him to have some peace, you know.
I think there's two different mentalities when it comes to some sort of a movement. I think there is a quantity mindset and there's a quality mindset. And I think that some people feel like the more people that are saying it, the more people that are involved, the more we spread it, no matter who, no matter the quality of that person, that's all that matters. And I think that other people feel like, well, it is the quality of the person because that affects the message, affects the integrity. And there are two different mindsets with that. And so oftentimes when that butts heads is when you find out that certain people that are spreading the message aren't don't have quality. And the one reason I follow Casey and I'm on this group is because I feel like it's very much focused on the quality as opposed to just getting it out there to everyone, whoever, no matter what they want, no matter what they actually care about, no matter what they're actually for. It's all in the numbers. I don't feel like I feel like that's not as authentic. And so a lot of this I feel is just a difference in mindset. And some people will say, well, how can you tell someone not to come? That's another number, that's another voice, that's another person spreading awareness. But then other people, like the people that tend to be in this group, are like, well, it's not worth our while if it's not genuine. And so spending the time to weed out those people is worth it.
I want to say something real quick because I just popped in on my other device and listened to some of that, and I don't want to say anything else about it after this because, like I said, this is Casey's house. This ain't anybody else's. She is creating a drama that she wants to create that has zero to do with her. Period. It has nothing to do with her. So this is just one more of these, let's blow everything up and let's put everybody up against each other. No, we're not feeding into this mess. If she wants to go and cry, she can. Let's send her a box of tissue because she's going to run out. Because she's crying over shit that has nothing to do with her. And excuse my French, Miss Tammy, but I'm not nice all the time. But she's crying tears over somebody else's stuff that has nothing to do with her. And all of the people in her comments talking about, they don't even know what they're talking about. So, whatever. This is Casey's house. We're going to respect it as it is. Let's keep this drama out of it. I'm seeing in the comments, I'm also seeing in the comments, not nice all the time. But she's crying tears over somebody else's stuff that has nothing to do with her. And all of the people in her comments talking about, they don't even know what they're talking about. So, whatever. This is Casey's house. We're going to respect it as it is. Let's keep this drama out of it. I'm seeing in the comments, I'm also seeing in the comments, people keep saying, we're supposed to be talking about this. We're supposed to be talking about that. Again, you are in Casey's house. You're not going to come in here and tell her what to talk about. If you don't like it, you are free to scroll on. Nobody is forcing you to take your little fingers and type on a little thingy to talk about something else. There is a plethora of topics that you can find on TikTok. Go look for them.
Eljoy, I love you and how you stick up for Casey. But the other sheep of the black kind isn't helping the situation any either over there. But anyway, that's besides the point. I wanted to say I'm sorry for the drama that happened in the comments. Thank you for blocking her. She's been harassing me and stalking me since April and saying horrible things about me. I really do appreciate you for sticking up for me and taking care of that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tammy, for speaking up and giving us your side of the story. I also wanted to address the drama. The problem is people are coming in halfway through a live and haven't heard the whole story from beginning to end. They hear what they think they want to hear, and then they just go crazy with it. And what they're saying has happened is definitely not facts, and they need to calm down and get the facts together before they start going off on a tangent the way that this one has. Miss Tammy, I'm so sorry that you had to be in the middle of all this drama.
That's okay.
I'm going to have to get off of here. I'm going to log out and then log right back in because we want to make sure that this live gets saved and I don't lose it so that we can save it for later. But But I will be right back, and anybody and everybody who's on the panel, you can come right back up, including you, Tammy. So I will be right back.